family. I didn't quite get what was happening, but I didn't like the sound of this. And I didn't even know that this was only the beginning. The next morning, the first class was appearance. There was a hairdresser. The guy cut my hair down to my shoulders. Then he dyed it light brown. When the hairdresser left, Miss Abby said, "Nicole, from now on, this will be your hairstyle. You will measure the length every morning. Once it grows an extra inch, you will call the hairdresser. He will come and cut it to the required length." This was the most ridiculous thing I'd ever heard, but I didn't want to cause any trouble on my first day, so I kept quiet. The next class was speaking. Miss Abby gave me a handout. There were many words on it. "Nicole, memorize all these words. We want you to start using them more frequently in your daily conversations." I took a look at the sheet. It contained words like cringe, stan, bestie, pressed, vibes, cap. "Why do I need to use these?" I asked. "Nicole, please start memorizing them now. We're expecting you not to ask questions, but to do what we ask," she snapped. The third class was behavior. I learned a bunch of nonsense there as well. For example, I wasn't supposed to get up before 10 a.m., but I actually like waking up early. Even if I were to wake up early, I had to stay in bed until 10. There was another absurd rule about crying. When Miss Abby said, "You will not cry under any circumstances," I replied, "Well, I can't promise that. A person has a right to cry if they feel like it. You can't forbid it." Miss Abby frowned and said, "This is very important. You are not to cry even when you're alone." My studies went on like this for several days. I ended up focusing on the classes because honestly, there was nothing else for me to do. Miss Abby taught me a million weird things. For example, if my new father talked about work at dinner, I would have to roll my eyes and say, "Daddy, come on." I had to listen to music while I was showering, and of course, there was a list of songs I could choose from. I didn't know why, but I wasn't allowed to listen to music outside of the shower. One day at the end of class, Miss Abby said, "Nicole, I want to thank you for the effort you put into this. You have successfully completed your studies. Tomorrow you will move into your room at the main residence and live there from now on. Take this notebook. It has everything that you need to know. If you deviate from the rules, you'll move back here and we'll start studying from scratch." I was so happy to find out these classes were finally over. I'd begun thinking that this weird program would go on forever. "Can you tell me why I learned all this?" I asked. With her usual stern expression, Miss Abby said, "You'll find out soon enough." The next day, they took me to the mansion. My new room was massive and decorated in pink. I opened the closet. It was full of clothes that were mentioned in class. Was this place prepared for me? I looked around carefully. I went through everything. In the end, I figured out this room belonged to someone else, but for some reason, I had inherited it. After a while, a maid showed up. "Miss Nicole, your mother and father are expecting you at the White Hall," she said.